Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Haphazard Podcast. I was in a lovely mood, and then on the drive over here, I don't like to think of myself as a road rage girl. I definitely have been, but I think I'm getting better at it. I think there'd been like a car crash around the park, and I could see, and everyone was turning around. So everyone was like going a certain way and then turning around the middle of the road and coming back. So it was pretty chaotic. I was on a curve of the park. So I could see that everyone was turning around and coming back and that there was a blockage. But I guess no one behind me could. So what I did is I put my hand above my roof. Like I put my hand out the window and above my roof because I was about to turn around. Had obviously stopped the car by this point because the person in front of me was turning around. And she, another woman, had been like, "We're turning round." Like she'd mouthed it and said it because she's a thoughtful person who saw me about to hit it. She was like, "We're turning round," and like wailed. So I stuck my hand out the window above my car and I gave it the universal international symbol of turning around, which is this. To signal that was what I was about to do. So the man behind me bibbed his horn, went and overtook me and drove in front of me, and then obviously realised he too was going to have to turn around. And I, in that moment, was like, what did you fucking... Right. Okay, let's put to one side that you're obviously a misogynist and saw a woman drive it and were like, "Oh, she's fucking stopped in the middle of the road again. Women." Who just stops in the middle of it's 20 miles per hour. We're virtually not moving anyway. Stops, gives it the universal, I thought, turnaround signal, which is this. If you can't see it, it's a woo-woo sign. Did he think I was just loving driving so much? I love driving so much that I'm going to stop in the middle of the road and just take a minute to be like, "Woo, driving! How fucking great is driving! Oh my God, aren't I lucky I get to drive? Woohoo!" There's stupid people everywhere. I don't think, I know, the media and mainstream, I don't know, political rhetoric at the moment is trying to hell bent on making us terrified of trans people, when actually there is a rising, terrifying epidemic of stupid people being able to do things. We have to stop letting them have jobs. There has to be some sort of thing. Anyway, all that to say, I've been having a lovely time. I was having such a lovely time that I woo-wooed in the car to tell everyone behind me how much I love driving. This week has been lovely. I'm having a lovely time. This episode is about worth, talking about self-worth, personal worth. That's so white. Right, today we're going to talk about worth, how you're worth. I just think I watched, not long ago, I watched the Rivals. Do you know that? The TV show where all posh people bonk. Shocker alert, love it. On Disney Plus. It's so brilliant, the Jilly Cooper. But I watched the finale a little while ago. And there's this beautiful, I'm not going to spoil anything, by the way, for those of you who haven't caught up. I'm not going to spoil, I don't think this is a spoiler. It's this beautiful scene between two phenomenal actresses, which is always just a gift in itself, isn't it? Talking with this beautiful dialogue. Sitting across the table, just having a cup of tea, just quietly, one of them goes, "Why do we stay with these men who aren't nice to us?" And it's so simple. The word nice, they're not nice to us. Why do we stay with these men who aren't nice to us? And one of them goes, "I thought I'd get braver as I get older, but I haven't. I've got more timid." And it was the scene between two women who were both staring down the barrel. One, less so, one of them has more lived the barrel, as it were, of just being with a man who's not nice to her and making her peace with it. And she has this line, she goes, "Duty was baked into us." And I'm not aligning myself. I think women of the 80s had quite, for various different reasons, had a very experience. So women in 2026. And I think maybe I'm not even talking gendering this. I think a lot more people than are willing to admit it are in relationships with people who aren't nice to them. I've been in a relationship with someone who wasn't nice to me. And nice is so basic. When you say it, in that relationship that I was in, if someone had said, "Is he nice to you?" I think I'd have had to go, "Oh, fuck no." No, he's not nice to me. And I'm totally willing to accept that there are days when kindness doesn't lead the way in relationships, and there are days when you could be better, and there are days when you're maybe a little bit thoughtless, but nice? Is he nice to you? Surely that has to be a minimum for getting into a relationship with someone. Our guest who we have on today, actually, I'm not going to spoil. We have so many conversations about this because he again done the work, but has just these lovely conversations about when you get yourself into a healthy relationship, how shocking it is. I wouldn't know, I haven't found it, but when he couldn't believe, the voice notes he'd sent me about how shocked he was to find he was in this incredibly healthy relationship and someone was making him feel good, actively choosing to make him feel good, actively choosing to be a team player, actively choosing to make his life better. And this episode of Rivals was just so quietly beautiful about that. And then one of the actresses, she goes off, she goes, what was the line she used? It was like, live like blazes, deciding to live like blazes, and just to stop being married to someone who's such a candle blower out, or just someone who dulled everything and made everything worse. Again, I'm going to bang on about it. It's the book that changed my life, and it's the book that's up there. Glennon Doyle's Untamed. She has this line in it, and she talks about she stayed in her marriage. I mean, and I think her ex-husband sounds like a delightful guy. It's just one of those situations where two people were in a marriage that became quite toxic and quite negative for both. But she talks about, I stayed in this marriage for my children, but I wouldn't want this marriage for my children. And oh my God, it floored me, absolutely floored me, because I think so many of us, women and men, there's a sense of once you have children of this, what the children need, what they need stability. To see the parents' divorce is really hard for children. I know so many people who are products of divorce, whose parents are no longer still together. And let me tell you, I think they're a lot happier than parents who stayed together, quietly seething and furious at each other. By the way, I don't count myself that. Bridge and Nick are brilliant. I'm very, very lucky. But it has always been something I've thought about. And like I said in other episodes, there was obviously that thing in my head when I was deciding to have a baby by myself, which was, do they need a father? Do they need a father? Is there this male figure that needs to be in their life? Do they need to see two parents? And it just is nonsense. It's nonsense. I loved that line in Glennon Doyle. I was staying in my marriage for my children, but I wouldn't want this marriage for my children. And modelling the thing you want them to have. And that was what's so beautiful about the scene in Rivals, is one of the actresses turned around and was like, and they were saying, for the kids, and for the kids. She goes, but what am I showing her? What am I showing my daughter? And I count myself as someone who I do believe, I hope one day to be able to choose well and choose, as Adrian Rich would say, with all my intelligence when I do finally fall in love with someone, whenever that may be. But I'd also like to say before, and I've had a lot of messages about women thinking about whether they want to do this by themselves and whether the single parent by choice is for them. I would just say one thing, there were so many positives to my life in the way I've chosen to do it parenting wise. I really do believe that. I believe it more and more, in fact. There are also little griefs. And I would say that a school friend of mine, we went out for dinner a little while ago and she was toying with it. I was like, I would be really doing you a disservice if I didn't talk about the little griefs you're going to have to grieve before this. There are little things like, I didn't get the moment when I told the person I loved that we were having a baby. And I'd always you grow up thinking, when you turn around, you show them that stick and they're like, oh my God, we're pregnant. I was like, you don't get that. But I got, as we mentioned in the last episode, Kay with me at the 7-week scan, bursting into tears, being the first person to hear my baby's heartbeat. And that was like beyond magic. I had her at Pickle's Uncle Tom outside the clinic every single time I went in to try for a baby with a bunch of flowers and take me for a walk afterwards. And no woman could possibly have been more loved through her baby making journey than I was by my friends. Those two very much so, but everyone. I didn't get that photo, when the dad walks out the hospital with the car seat and it's all like off to, and there's this like protective thing, this man who's taking like his family home. I didn't get the moment that I love, and I will say this, I love all my guy friends who are fathers. There's this moment after the birth where when they talk about their other half, their girlfriends or their wives, the awe that they speak about them with. I remember it so clearly with Simon, one of my best mates. He just couldn't believe what he'd seen Alex do. He couldn't believe what he'd seen his wife do and go through. And deliver their child and put her. So he was just, and all of them, when I've talked to them, are like that. They just can't believe it's not just some like throwaway caption on Instagram like she's amazing, she's a Wonder Woman. They just can't believe the capacity, the depth of strength that these women have. And I always used to think, I was like, oh, you know, I didn't have that. I obviously had Bridget Preston telling me that she also hadn't slept for 24 hours. And there were little griefs. I didn't get that. You know, when like there's a big man and his chest is bare and there's a baby on it. I didn't get that. There were so many things I did get though, and that I have had and that I've been able to dodge. And I suppose that I just think when every choice you make, every single choice you make, a little grief comes alongside it. The last time I was made to feel really, really bad by a boy was about 2 years ago. And it was really horrible, and I was shrunk down to the size of an atom, and I felt incredibly small and incredibly disposable and incredibly grim. And I remember even thinking at the time I was just about to start the IVF process, and I was never going to like have a kid with him. It was just a case of whether he was going to be in my life and along for the ride, and you know, still sort of peripheral a person. And I just remember thinking after that night, the only thing worse than how I feel right now would be a child of mine watching it. And I suppose what I'm saying is worth isn't just the money you make and the way you live. And I mean, when this guest that I talk about it will very much be about job within that realm, because that's a lot of the time where things start, and certainly how we talk about it, getting into relationships. But worth, I think, is a really interesting thing, because you know when you're being treated beneath it. Lena Dunham writes, if you let someone treat you beneath yourself for long enough, you start to believe it. And I do think there's a lot of us in every realm. Emma Grede talks about it in her book. I know I've already talked about her, but about how women don't like talking about money, and it's the reason women so often are paid less. And I think we really struggle with knowing our worth, holding out for our worth, believing our worth and making sure everyone else does, and not feeling like we're an arrogant asshole, just not feeling like we're the most arrogant people, being like, no, I'm better than this. But there has to be, and I think maybe that worth can't be by comparison with other people, because that's very different. Those are moving parts. But I think all of us on some level know when we are being treated beneath ourselves. And I hope that whether that's in a relationship, or whether that's in your friendship groups, or whether that's in your career context, I think I'd just like us all to not stand for that anymore. I think I'd like us all to have the vocabulary or like the awareness to just go, oh, actually, no, not for me, that one, thanks. Non pour moi. I think I'd like that loads. Right, my Dean McCarthy from Widnes Arch Nemesis of the Week is the spicy one, but only because I feel like I think actually it's not a spicy one at all. I think I'm like preach to the choir. From having spoken to a few of you who listen to this, I don't think I have the greatest cuntiest following at all for this podcast. Can we please just discuss the mums who comment on Instagram posts? It has to stop. It has to stop. And I know a lot of it is rage bait, clickbait, etc., right. If you, as a mum or a father, although let's be honest, it's almost always the women, if you come across a woman, it's in one of those fucking sepia tones or like with some music behind it being like, saying something about motherhood in tones that is like, if you're not doing this with your baby, then I feel sorry for you. Or like, you better baby better be doing this. Or if you don't love your child this much, then maybe the comments underneath it are always like, I've actually raised 19 children and co-sat with every single one of them, and I think you'll find that this is I saw a clip the other day of like Ruth Langsford doing a podcast interview where she just mentioned that she offered a new mother at work a little bit of like a cuddle and reassurance on her first day back. That's a whole podcast clip of her being like, hey, here's some cuddle and some reassurance. The fucking comments are women being like, actually that was bullshit advice, because she should be at home with her kid, because kids have nervous systems that can't handle their mother. And you're like, oh, right, okay. Oh God. Can we all agree? We all like different people. Checks out, we're all going to raise different people. It is, and I'm going to say this slowly, no one's business the choices a mother is making. Now, unless those choices are to like send them out naked into the street at -5 degrees, or unless that choice is to arm them and send them into school, or unless that choice is to like, I don't even know what another choice is where you'd be like, no. Obviously, we're all judging. We're judgy little cunts. We're judgy little bitches. We're in our heads being like, let it stay inside you. Let it stay inside your head. I truly believe all mothers innately know what is right for their kids. Whether they do it is another thing, but I truly believe all mothers just know the thing that is right for them. The mums in the comments did not get that memo. They did not. They're like, actually, I think you'll find you're a child abuser. I think you'll find you're the worst mother and your kid should be taken from you. I can't imagine what has happened to your life where the level of fury that you feel for this, and a lot of the time it's rage baiting anyway. This random woman on Instagram who's just sharing a bit of herself. Just sharing it. Just saying, oh, this is what we do. This is what we do. I am never, ever, ever more grateful for getting wang on about it. My group of mums in our group, I don't think anyone at any point one time has been like, you should really do that. Usually it's just people being like, oh, we're fucked. Anyone got any ideas on this? And then everyone going, no, but what we tried is this. What we tried is this. We're all doing things differently. I was obviously a nanny for 10 years more, I think. I'm also a qualified sleep consultant. Got humbled between months 4 to 6 with my own child. What I will say in all of those is I always said when I was a nanny, I will never discipline past the point of the parents. The parents decide basically the children they want to raise. They decide basically how we want to do this, the rules of the house, the rules of the kids. I just have to back it up. That's your job. That should always be your job. It is not for you to impart what you think. Yeah, sure, maybe occasionally I've been in families where I was like, oh, maybe we could do things a little differently, or but it's not my fucking job. It's not my job. That's the parents. That's their children. They're raising their children in the way that they want their children to turn out. It is gobsmacking to me that I even have to say this. Listen, we all need, some people need to grow up and be assholes. Who's going to work for Foxtons? Let people raise their kids, like I said, unless it is deeply and unequivocally affecting your child or your life or the rest of society. I think everyone's trying to unleash vaguely cool, sort of contributory, is that the word? Positively contributing children, humans to the world. Please stop. Please stop. It's mortifying. It's so embarrassing. It's always women. Stop it. Stop it. Also, women are only saying what they did. Let's be clear. Everyone is screaming what they did to be like, it's right. No, it's not right. Show us your kids. That sounded really bad. Show us your kids. I cannot tell you, in my experience, the people who scream the loudest about how to raise children have almost always raised absolute fucking disasters. Fucking disasters. Well, I can't believe you've done this. You've got to do this. You've actually got to do this. Really? Your child has 3 dog biscuits stuck up its nose. It's called Stardust and just shat itself at breakfast. He seems delightful. It just wouldn't be for me. If you are going, right, new rule, if you are going to scream in an Instagram comment section at another woman just trying her best to be a mummy, you have to also include a video to your fucking perfect, idyllic, familial setup. Ladies, get a life. Get a life. I'm aware that some of the comments are bots. I'm also aware of that, but we have to. The comment section simply must die. Thank you. This week on Haphazard, my very special guest here, the first boy I've allowed on the podcast. He's one of my favourite people in the world, and my daughter also wouldn't have a cot if it wasn't for him. It's Brennan Reece!
Alpha male.
He's so alpha. But this is what drives me mental, is all the boys the roast everywhere giving you shit about being camp. I was like, there was only ever one person I would ever have asked for the most serious DIY job in the world.
I wouldn't let any of our friends near my house. Imagine letting Adam Rowe put up some shelves.
Imagine. But the problem is they'd all tell you that they'd be brilliant at it. Freddie, the amount of times would be like, yeah, it's fucking easy, I can fucking do that. I was like, what you would do?
It's meant to be wonky. It's Scandinavian. And you're like, I don't. It
I read a book and it said it's exactly how you should do the bracket.
Helps your back. Okay, fine.
What? Yes.
I guess that cupboard's not meant to open like that.
No, I wanted it shut for all of eternity. That's exactly how I wanted it. But yeah, thank you. His cot still hasn't broken. So
That's
well
great.
done. Yeah, you really
there was a point where I was driving off. I think I might have even mentioned it to my girlfriend where I was like, there's quite a lot of pressure.
It's such a big DIY job. Like the thing she's going to sleep in safely every single night.
And to get bigger in.
Sure. And very much is. So thank you for that.
That's all right.
You're on because I love you the most. But also this whole episode is me trying to talk about that liminal space between having worth, dare we say it as comedians, and not being an arrogant cunt.
Yeah, it can come across as it's such a fine line, isn't it?
No, it's a sneaky.
And also, it's not something you get to decide.
It is not something you get to say. But do you remember when I messaged you a little while ago when I had that horrendous? It wasn't a horrendous gig. It was just that gig where I think something just snapped inside me. You know the one where I called you. I was like, there are 395 people in here. They've all paid £22.50 for a ticket. I am being paid £200, and I got there and found out I had to show run as well.
I think there's just been something since COVID where, as comedians, we all want to do it.
Yeah.
And people want to do it for different reasons. Some people want to do it to be famous. Some people want to do it for money. Some people want to do it because they got bullied at school. Hello. And it feels like we're always going, please have us. Yeah. And then I think some promoters have gone, we could get them to do more. Not only do they need to do the job that not many people can do, but we can also get them to sell the ice creams in the interval. You're like, great.
Okay, I turned up and this woman at the venue who was so delightful, nothing to do with the promotion or the booking side of it, had been run ragged. She opened the door to me, she's like, oh, thank God you're here. Bear in mind, I was like an hour early. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I was told someone would be here at 5:30. And I was like, babe, I have to talk to you about comedians.
No.
If we're here 8 minutes before stage time, it's a fucking show.
We all do one Avalon or Off the Curb gig where it says, get here at 4. I don't know why. And then you realise, they don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
I'm sat in Reading Uni for 4 hours going,
oh God. No, I wanted to really soak in the vibes before I went on 4 hours of vibes. So this woman was beside herself. There was no showrunner. They had given me the heads up before when he was like, oh, could you just check in with the tech and, make sure everything's fine? I was on cans, Brennan. Stephen Bailey pissed himself laughing. He came on to open. I was on cans.
Did you feel like you'd been caught doing another job? Yeah. Do you know when you're like, no. I've been roped into. I don't work here. I'm a full-time comic.
I was braiding kids' hair in the wings. Yeah. Face painting.
Doing quick changes for the comedians.
And Stephen just looked at me laughed. I was like, what? How is this? How has this happened? And it's just because you go, yeah, sure. And it was only after I realised. And I asked them, I was like, how many people are it? And asked the ticket prices. And then I was
you do the maths.
You do the maths. Middle act turned up, and I think I called you about this, died a death.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way he's been paid less than me because he's driven from miles away. So he wouldn't have done it for what I'm on. So that means that I have been paid the least on the lineup. I've done the most work. I've been here for 2.5 hours, also paying for childcare. And I just think something fucking snapped. And I was like, no. And I messaged him afterwards. I was like, hey, here's my invoice. I'm going to pull all my dates with you. Thank you. The show was great. Great lineup, but best of luck. And
so I think we might have had a similar experience within those couple of weeks. And Stephen Bailey, who's a good friend of mine, good friend of yours, brilliant comedian, has a similar thing. And we talked about this a lot. And I didn't know that you could ask about money. I always thought it was like an icky thing because of maybe my upbringing, or even though, if we're on a bill and let's say you're headlining and I'm opening, most of the time you can kind of figure out, you go all right, there's this amount of people, you'll be paid more because you get paid more to close. I've never done this promote. So you can sort of figure out where we all are.
Yeah.
But some of these new promoters go, here's someone off the telly that hasn't gigged in 6 months and they're going to do new stuff. Give them £10,000. And then sometimes you feel like, am I propping up this gig for the least amount of money? And it's only recently, and I think it's only because of other things in my life being in a good place, where you go, I'm not fucking doing that. No way am I doing that.
But you had that. That was what you said to me on the call, was what had that person said to you, which is we know what you go out for.
Yeah, so they offered me, they said, are you free on this date? That's how it happens. You get an email sometimes, or a WhatsApp if they're unprofessional, or really unprofessional, you might get a MySpace message. It's so annoying. I just go, email me. This is work. Stop paging my old phone, please.
I don't do fax. Fax is long.
There was a promoter, I don't even know if he still does it anymore, who used to send you a letter.
No, he did not.
He did.
No, he didn't, Brennan.
Agraman would send you a letter on yellow legal paper with the details.
What'd you do, my gag?
yeah. It's like someone slid it across a primary school table and go, will you go out with my mate?
Just send you one of these. I was like, yes, no,
pick a
yes,
letter, pick a colour. Oh, shit, I'm going to the whole comedy lounge. So,
R.I.P.
This, has it gone?
I think so, baby, I think.
Good.
Fucking hell.
Why are we gigging in a Laser Quest? So, I get a message. Yeah. Are you free on this day? And I always smell something fishy now when there's less details.
Cagey with deets.
Question before the details. Give me all the details and I'll tell you if I can do it. It's like when someone goes, can you do me a favour? Yeah. And I used to go, yeah? And then they go, look after my nan for the next 2 years. And you're like, fuck.
God damn it.
But they just said, hey, can you? And I was like, what's the fee? And they said, don't worry about that. We know what you go out for. And something new, I think it's new, that's come up inside me where I was like, I think you'd have to pay me a lot more now to do it because you've fucked me off. Because you're basically going like, you're on the third deck of the Titanic. You'll do what we want. Yeah. I'm like, no. In a horrible way. And I think this sometimes with some shit promoters. Yeah. I want to say to him, you're lucky I've not gone viral. Because I wouldn't be here. And I know that's the ego thing. That's the ego versus the worth thing. Where I think I've got enough miles on the clock, same with you. And other comedians, and I know what you're about to do then, where you go like, but I'm new and I'm still like, no, you can do the gigs. You're good at what you do. You give a shit and you're nice to people. And I think it's that new thing where I go like, I can do this. And I can do it well because I've done it for over a decade. Yeah. And I've done some ropey gigs, as we've all done. I've done some gigs that are too big for me, too small for me. I haven't got right, done this, done that. But now I'm like, I can do the gigs. If someone said to me tonight, and again, it's that balance between ego and worth. Yeah. If someone rung me now and said, John Bishop has dropped out of the arena. We just need someone to fill for an hour. I reckon I could do it.
I also think you do it.
Yeah, and I think you could do it. I think we could all do it. But if I wouldn't say that in a green room.
No.
Because I wouldn't say that unasked either. I wouldn't go like, tell you what, I could fucking do it. But
I've come up with a hypothetical problem and I think I can solve it.
And I think it's years and years and years and years and years of being mistreated.
Right. Where something needs to snap a little bit. But this is what we talked about on that day, which was I've just finished listening to the Emma Grede book, which I know which is about, it's more women centric and about women in business. And she says almost exactly what you said, which is a lot of women think talking about money is icky. Like it's really inelegant. The idea of saying, what do you want? Like it's like unchic, but not that all women are wandering around like desperately concerned about being chic, but like there is an inelegance is the right word.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, and this is not me bringing it up and putting Brennan on the spot, by the way, and being a complete cunt, but this is what we're saying. There's like this interesting overlap between women and people who grew up working class, which I'm not going to sit here and claim to have done,
which we call women.
But this thing of exactly what you said, this gratitude. I hope I'm always polite. I hope I'm always grateful. I hope I always say my please and thank yous whenever I send my invoices. I say thank you so much. I had a really, really great time. Really appreciate any other bookings. Sometimes there's a moment, and again, this corresponds to anyone in any business. It's not just ours. Ours is more obvious because we're working next to people who are being paid incredibly different sums of money to what we're all on and whatever.
And it really varies now.
Really varies.
I think it used to vary without trying to go into money too much. I think if you were to do a weekend club on a Saturday, you're probably being paid between 200 and 400 quid. Something like that.
Whereas now we're on lineups where I am being paid a 20th of what the headliner's on.
Yeah. Because they can sell the tickets, which I get.
Totally. And that's not me shitting on it. I get wine, and some of the lineups I've been on, you're like, yeah, $1 million. Of course, absolutely. But something I realised, I was like, don't mistake my gratitude and my manners for me not knowing my worth. And I do think that that's a lot of it, a lot of the time. When you've grown up with, for whatever reason, just saying a thank you, saying a thank you, saying a thank yous. And I think that we love, as you said, we love this job. As much as we like Witch and Boat, we love this job. I'm not going to stand and be like, fine, I'm not doing comedy anymore.
Because what's the alternative?
We love it, yeah.
But like, I spoke to a comedian friend of ours, Josh Pugh, yesterday, and he's fantastic, and he's been fantastic forever.
He's the loveliest guy.
Yeah. And there's people like him where you go, you can be lovely and you can still get to that next level or do what you want to do. And he sent me a beautiful voice note where sometimes you get so angry about the injustice, not even the injustice of comedy, but like sometimes you go, there's a real disparity in ability and fame. Yeah. And that's not me going, I want to be that famous. No. I don't think I'd really like to be that famous. I don't think I would either. Let me have my meal, stop asking for a picture. Fame. But Josh said, aren't we lucky? He goes, I was sat in the garden, he was sat there, we're both sat in the garden on a Monday, just having a coffee. Everyone's at work. He goes, how lucky are we that we get to, and we work our asses off. We drive around the country. We've done an unpaid internship for 4 years, whatever it is. Yeah. But you go, okay, that's cool. And that's amazing. And it's good to know, but I can't pay my mortgage with that. Yeah. I also need to like be able to call these like city bankers who now are promoters. Do you know what I mean? I need to call them out on it. Back off.
Exactly. But what was the one? And that's the big one, isn't it? I think that's what's so lovely. And I think that's what winds some promoters up is when we go, absolutely, you know, treat us how you want to treat us and pay us what you want to pay us. We also are allowed to say, that's brilliant, I'm not going to work for you anymore. Totally. What was that one you told me about the guy who bitched and moaned, like way underpaid you, didn't treat you well, whatever, and then uploaded all these pictures to Instagram of him shopping in Harvey Nichols in Dubai. What was it?
I can't remember what it was, but I think I remember where it's like I'd done maybe 2 nights far away from home.
Very far.
I also asked for a hotel and he must have gone on booking.com and found from low to high.
Filter.
Do you know what you like?
Filter, 1 star to 1.5 star.
This is also a Robinson's pub. You're like, come on, mate. And I was doing 2 nights. I keep hitting this mic. That's how angry I am. 2 nights. And you're like, okay, if I was to compare that to what my dad had earned over 2 nights, it's different. Yeah. But I know how much, I think I did the maths because I had enough time to drive home because there was no hotel on the second night. So I drove home and I was doing the maths and I figured out on that weekend, that person, if had made about 40 grand, and even if he spent 20 grand on advertising and setup, he made £20,000 on a weekend.
And you slept in a treehouse.
And I'm like, I had to go to the bar to get my key card. Where at the same time, you shouldn't be able to check in where you can also buy 2 meals for £10.
No, you should.
And I don't even mean it in that way where it's like, I've been on the telly. People have been on the telly. The telly's the telly.
But it's what you said, it's a discrepancy. It's a disparity between what are you walking away with? And again, you don't want to sit here and judge your worth by what you should make, because whatever. But it does, you just suddenly start going, oh God, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. It's like those beautiful moments in relationships where all your friends are going, Hatty, I think you're like, no, he's actually secretly loves me.
Yeah. No, I can change him.
He's just keeping it a secret. He's secret love.
I remember one time, and this has happened a couple of times, but I remember about a year ago, just before I had some time off, because of that reason, I was getting so sad that I was like, I feel like I'm on this treadmill where I need to pay my bills and my mortgage, but also I'm doing these gigs that I don't want to do. And I remember doing this gig, and there was a lovely couple who must have seen me around or maybe seen me on a podcast or seen me whatever. And they just said, it's you. And I went, what? And they went, why are you here? And I said, what do you mean, why am I here? And they were like, why are you in our town? We thought it was like a con that you were on we didn't think you'd turn up. And I was like, fuck. I'm Fire Festival. They thought that this gig was Fire Fest. Where Beyonce was going to turn up
your tribute.
Ulverston. Yeah. And you forget that people hold you really high. That's again the ego versus the worth, where people go, "You're brilliant, you're brilliant, you're brilliant." If we're really, really talking about like worth though, I honestly believe that my genuine worth has come from being in like healthy relationship. It's got to be, because I've been in relationships that didn't work. I've been in relationships that are unhealthy. I've been in relationships that are financially unhealthy. And you know, when you're like, I've got to save you, I've got to provide, I've got to do all that. And then with my girlfriend, we've been together about a year. And the fact that she's done the work and she's got nothing to do with this. She does a proper job. And she is supportive, but she's not impressed. Yeah. So I'm not having someone at home going, wow.
Oh my God.
You did the Glee. Yeah. And I love the Glee, but it's only work. Yeah. She sees it as she's got a job and I've got a job.
Yeah.
And when she sees that I'm being mistreated, or that I am sad because like I might come home and go, that man made 40 grand and I made, 700 quid. She goes, well, that isn't right. And I've never had anyone go, that isn't right.
Yeah. And that isn't right because I love you, rather than that isn't right because I'm also a comedian and you should be on this, and there's a competitive, like she's just looking at it from a place of like, I really love you and I'd really like you to be treated well by everyone you come into contact with, and this is not it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, that, isn't it? I mean, I've had mine has come from more, I mean, I've talked about this, from having Pickles around. Obviously Pickles was in all the green rooms for the first 6 months because she had to be. And it was why I made it my rule. I was like, I will only work for people who treat me with respect. I'll only work with people who treat me with respect, because even though she's that little, she's seeing it. She's watching it. Every time I take her to work, whether it's a festival or whatever, like she'll be gradually picking up on how mummy is treated at work. And obviously I hope she doesn't go into this for a living. I hope she,
she can't.
She can't fucking.
Please don't let her.
Please, God.
Podcasts will be like the speakeys.
I know.
By then. They'll be talking like Joe Rogan, like he was Charlie Chaplin.
He's like, hey, do you want to go see an old podcast on vinyl?
Dusting off an iPhone 18. What is this? No. Don't look at it.
No, please, God. But it was being like, and I suddenly really was so aware of it. I was so aware of the environments in which I felt really like respected, and because you've got this little person watching it, and so I guess by virtue it's quite a similar thing. But it is nuts, isn't it? And I don't know. I still struggle with that, like they're not being seen as a cunt. Yeah. Because also you've then got that thing of like, if you're giving it the full, like, I'm really sorry, but for what you're selling and for the amount the tickets are, I'm really not gonna do it for that man. Then you turn up and fucking bomb your dick off. Like that in my head, I'm like, that's what's gonna happen.
But I've had it where I have been seen, like, it's very rare that I kick out or kick back go like, no, that's not fine.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people do it, and I always think of my mum. I'd just go like, my mum would slap me if she saw me talking to people how other comics have talked to people.
It's rude.
And the few occasions where I've been caught on the wrong day, or I think that someone who I'm paying a percentage to, whether it be a tour promoter or an agent or whatever, is not doing their thing. And I've gone, that's not on. I remember once, and it was an old live booker at my agency, and she was useless. She was rubbish, and that's why she's not doing the job anymore. But she did something that was so, I can't remember what it was, but it was so useless and rubbish that I just said, this isn't acceptable. Go away and do it again. And I probably didn't do it that harsh. And my actual agent rung me up and said, you've made her cry. I want you to apologise. And I just said no. Because I was like, it's your job. Like, we've all got shit bits of the job.
Babe, we have to stop letting stupid people like email us.
No, that sentence can finish earlier. We have to stop letting stupid people. We just have to stop letting stupid people.
There's so many.
And I'm thick.
No,
but I'm not stupid.
And you're not thick.
I am a bit.
No, sometimes, but that's not. We all are. Like, we all. Do you know what I mean? That's the gig. That's why we're this, because we're all fucking wandering idiots. We couldn't possibly have had a job with actual stakes.
True.
We couldn't possibly have had actual jobs. But stupid people, there is an epidemic. Like, I know it is rising every single day. To tell you about when I finally left my last agent. It's one of my funniest things. I mean, I was in a very weird thing where I actually had an acting agent since I was 7 years old, and then so been a professional actor.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that
So
time.
you know the gist.
So I know the job. I don't. Obviously, they were bringing me on for comedy and the others. But as I said to them at the time, I was like, "You're getting a semi-professional comedian." They were at the time. I was like, "But you're getting a professional actress." So I'm no like fucking slouch on the acting stuff. I've been doing this long enough.
Yeah.
They sent me a commercial, and commercial self-tapes, for anyone who doesn't know, are the bane of an existence. They are inevitably one of the hardest things in the world to self-tape for, because what they actually want you to do is do the commercial.
They want and there's an amazing sketch by Cardinal Birds, the Fiery
so
Hawk.
good!
They've nailed that.
It's unhinged to the point that you're like, how would I abseil? Maybe I could abseil down the side of my house to get that shot. Like, it's the most demented. I had to do mine on a Sunday. There should be a special place in hell for people who make you self-tape over the weekend. I had to do mine on a Sunday. Jojo Sutherland was staying with me, so she had to help me film. It couldn't have been worse. It was hysterical. Did this whole self-tape, like left my shame and respect at the door.
Because the payoff's so
Because
good.
the payoff is money and we love her. And did this self-tape. Sent it back, and on the Monday morning it was a good girl, exactly, because also you can't just send it back now, you've got to like upload it to this, and then send it by winged bird to the manager of the thing, and it's just got it away. And that Monday morning I got a message going, "Hey Hattie, thank you, there doesn't seem to be any audio on ours, so could you just give it another go?" And then the other agent messaged me going, "Hi, yeah, same here, can't find the audio, maybe just see if you've uploaded it wrong and whatever." And I took a big deep breath and I was like, "Do you mean for the silent movie commercial?"
Oh my God.
I was like, also, if you had watched the tape to the end, you would have heard the ident when I say, "Hatty Preston, managed by 5'6".
I've got two hands. Yeah, that's the most
embarrassing thing.
I have hands.
This. And I go, so what we've all learned today is that not only do you not vet the auditions you send my way, because you'd have seen, they're doing it like a silent movie, and you also don't watch my tapes to the end. What, the minute and 17 seconds that I sent you? You didn't watch the thing because you'd have seen that I said, and I was like, lads, we have to stop. We have to stop working together, because now it's not that you fucked up this one. It's that you're medically stupid. I now know there are like medically stupid people representing me, and you simply can't.
Well, especially when you're like I wouldn't give 15% of my house to an idiot. So why am I giving 15% of my wage, which is so much money, plus your tax and all that? And I know it's not all about money. It's not all about, because I would work.
You don't have any.
But I would work in fucking telesales or whatever that MLM, multi-level marketing.
Oh yeah.
But you do have to be paid a bit. Like, I've responded before when it was about a year ago, and I got a DM of someone who said, there is an advert, someone's dropped out, and you were next on the list. And it's something like, and it was good money, like really good, like 15 grand or something.
Right.
And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to let my agent deal with that, because I don't know how to do contracts.
Yeah.
Came back and they were like, yeah, it's gone away from us. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, we thought it was a bit low. I was like, what? Are you on?
For who?
What are you on about? And they were like, yeah, we'd usually be asking for like 30 grand for that. I'm like, but I don't need 30 grand.
Did you think?
I didn't need 15. I don't need, but I like £15,000. And then they were like, don't worry, we'll get the next one. We'll get the next one.
No, I got this one. Yeah. I got this one. It's like you're fishing, and then the person next to you, just as you reel in like the biggest fish of the day, the person next to you is like, boring, snip.
And I get it. That 10, 15% of 15 grand is what? 2 grand to a really big agency. But you're like, but I could have had new windows and doors.
Yeah, do you have any idea the sun cream budget my household's dealing with at the moment? It's unbelievable.
That is the hard balance where we've all got a price. Yeah. And we, whether it's opportunity is the price, or a big advert is the price. There's things I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But if there's a limit, that I'll change my mind, because you go, do you know what? I have things that I need to provide for, or it might offer me, 2 weeks off work because I can do that. And I think now my sort of thing that I try and wrestle with is the value of me, the value of money, and the value of my time with people that I love. And that seems to be winning.
Do you think that's it though? Because we've talked about this loads, that you are really happy in your personal life. And so there's a foundation that comes with that of going, exactly that, like when you go away to a gig, you're not spending time with her. When you go away and have a really, really, really busy week, miles away, you're not spending time with this person you really, really want to. And similarly, I have pickles. And do you think that's often the difference? Do you think actually you've watched, I mean, we joke about like, watch a male comedian get successful, undoubtedly he'll get into a healthy relationship just before. Like it happens every time. And do you think it is just because their inner value goes up?
I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, definitely, like, I feel like I not to get too deep, but like when you feel shit about yourself, which I have so many different times, you go, I've not looked in a mirror for 4 days. And now you can go, oh, I kind of like this version of me.
Yeah.
Or you go, when you're in social situations and people go, have you thought about being on Taskmaster? And it would kill me.
Yeah.
And it'd be amazing to be on Taskmaster, but it wouldn't make me happier. They're like 3-4 years of whatever, when I was like, I'd say from when I did my first Edinburgh, where your self-worth is the lowest because you feel like if you don't get nominated for Best Newcomer, or you don't have lots of reviews, or you don't sell out, that you're shit at what you do.
Yeah.
And I've seen brilliant people like Josh Pugh do his first Edinburgh, one night to 10 people, one night to 17. And like, he's happy where he was, so he was able to do it, but I don't think I would have gone back. And then my worth was in people going, well done, you've got 5 stars. Well done, you've been nominated, so here's a piece of glass. Well done, you get to go on live at the Apollo. That's where all my worth came, because other people were saying, here's a worth ticket. Here you go, there's one for you. There's another one. Yeah. Oh, you didn't get that one. The other guy from the north got that one. Oh, my worth's a bit more down.
He's got the worth, I guess.
Yeah. And also it's like, that worth is only, there's an expiry date on it, because it goes, you're on Apollo, so you get 2 weeks of dopamine, and then maybe another week when it comes out, and then the world moves on. Yeah. And I found myself just up and down, and then not in a good place in terms of like romantically, because I was after something
grabby.
Else. Yeah. And also like when I was single, trying to find that dopamine hit and that worth by going like, I'll get on Hinge, or I'll get on Deliveroo, or I'll do this, or go there. Do you know, all those things? Yeah. And now I think that I had to like strip everything back, because I love doing this. I love it. And I don't want to be a cunt and go around going like, I should be on this, and I'm going to treat my agent like that. And then when I had to strip it all back down to basics. And then when I met Jess, my girlfriend, and then when I realised some friends who weren't serving me had to go over that. We didn't fall out. It was just like,
you just move.
You go over there. Yeah. I don't know if we've ever talked about the traffic light system on. My therapist said, she's not even my therapist anymore. I mean, she'll always be there, but she was like, put your friends and relationships and people you work with on traffic light. Green for the people you trust. Yeah. The people you want to be around, the people that fuel you and you fuel them. Amber, the people you get on with, but sometimes they just don't show up. Yeah. And then the reds are the ones where you go, you're bad news. You just take and don't show up and don't do anything. And those things can change. Those things can, like an amber can go to green, a green can go to red. But it was realizing where everyone should be. And my circle got so much smaller. But I'm like, oh, look at this. We're all just trying to get through the day. We're not trying to be horrible to each other, and we can be like kind to each other and communicate. And that's why I think now when it comes to gigging, I can go, I don't need to do all the clubs everywhere. I don't need to be on Taskmaster. Yeah. I don't need to have 500 million followers. Yeah. I just need to do the work that I enjoy doing and be with the people I enjoy being with, I think.
No, I think that's dead on. It's like it also means when you're that happy as a base level, and it doesn't mean happy, it means content. I think content's the right word. When your base is now content, it means you can really like taste something bad. I always think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When that's your base, something comes in, you're like, ooh, not good. Like we were
when you open your fridge, and you're like, something's off in it.
Exactly like that. and you're like, something's wrong, something's off, and I'm so attuned to it now. Because I'm very protective of who Pickles gets in the evening. I'm very protective of the person that turns up to Mummy Pickles, you know, all day, every day at the moment. And so so you just know, you're like, this feels really, I mean, we were talking about someone just before we started where I was like, no, for whatever reason, and I maybe don't even need to be able to put my finger on it. It feels bad. So it's a hard no.
Yeah. And I used to because I had low self-worth and I wanted everyone to like me, which I don't care for that much anymore.
Brennan, no,
but I would then be like a social chameleon where I'd go, like now when I sense a bit of badness, I'll just go like, no. But do you know when I was a kid and someone would go, smash that window. And I'd go, they'll like me if I smash the window. Whereas now I go, why are we smashing windows?
Yeah, I know. Were you the kid who you could chant enough times and you'd do anything? Yeah, sick.
And occasionally it will still come in.
Yeah.
Like I had a thing the other day and it was so nice to spot it. I did a preview of new jokes.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Some I'd not done hard enough work on. Some I was a bit nervous to say. Some I'd not learned properly. Some were fine. And then at the end, and I realised I forgot to set it up and say, this is a work in progress. I said, this has been really useful. And then a woman in the front went, useful? And I went, oh, sorry. This isn't as good as it gets. And then the ego came up and it went, I have to now show them that I can do comedy. And within the space of maybe 5 seconds, I was able to process it really quick. And I explained it to him. I said, this is ego now, but I'm now going to show you 5 minutes of good comedy.
Yeah.
And at least I didn't just go like, well, fuck you, I can do comedy, which I reckon back in the day I probably would have.
I'm actually really funny. I actually killed last night.
Yeah.
I killed.
Me showing old clips of me beating a gong or something. I'm like, don't need it.
But that's why I think it's really important before I end this chat with like, when me and Brennan talk about worth, we're not just these like mercenary money grubby assholes. Like I've used you as an example. I love that Monday night at Creatures when we all go there and we do new and we listen to each other and we help, and it's the best comedians are because it's so useful. We are not going out to earn buckets of money or else we're like, I'm not leaving my house. But I'm going out for it to be useful, to feel respected and to enjoy this thing that we do.
It sort of feels like we're all spotting each other at the gym.
It does. And you know what's great about that is kind of in the way that you said it, which is there's this beautiful thing that happens when a bunch of comedians get together to do a new writing night, and a very new writing night. I mean, Creatures is like on a Monday this is first time stuff.
Yeah, I've written it on the way here.
On the way,
if not, and by the way here, I mean from my seat to the stage.
We went to dinner beforehand. Our first one, you were like, I haven't done anything, so you wrote it on the way between dinner.
Yeah, which was I'd say about 70 steps.
Maybe 70 steps, but But there's a weird thing where, far from the ego, we actually kind of look down on each other if we do old. Do you know what I mean? If someone says something and goes, well, I've heard that. Why are you wasting our time? Why are you up here taking time out of the room when we could all be trying stuff? And I think that's integrity, isn't it? That's like, in whatever industry, in whatever profession, and however you're living your life, when integrity has to out, and everyone has different standards of it, but your integrity approaching the thing, and then when people come into your life and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, that's just beneath my levels of integrity and decency and how I expect to be
and it
treated.
doesn't mean I think it's shit.
Yeah.
It means I think I'm good.
I think, Is
that a nicer way of looking? But it is, you just go like, and there's people I would help out. Like if you said, can you come and do my new material night on a Tuesday to 20 people? I'm like, I think I know what that is. Whereas if that guy who was earning 40 grand a weekend asked me to do it, I'd say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Good fuck yourself. And that's how we're going to finish on. Go fuck yourself.
Go on.
Go fuck yourself. Not you though, you're the best. Thank you so much for doing this.
What a treat.
Really appreciate it. I love you heaps. Bye. Hello. This is my letter for the end of each episode. This is an appropriate one talking about worth. My favourite, very recently, we did Dead Meat Festival, which for those of you who don't know, that is the comedy festival run by the Dead Men Talking podcast, Rob and Freddie and Tom, which every year is pretty much all comedians' highlights. This year was no exception. And their headliner was my absolute number one favourite comedian in the world, Michelle Wolf. Now, of all the lovely things Freddie Quinn has done for me in our friendship, I would say booking my absolute favourite comedian in the world to headline on a night that I'm on was it. He'll say he didn't do it for me, but I think he did. It was wonderful. And I obviously, because I'm me, couldn't utter a word to her. because I can't when I like someone that much. So I've written her a letter. Dear Michelle, Lady Wolf, Dame Priestess Most Highest, please delete as appropriate. I obviously could not speak to you on Friday because I would have lost all ability to distinguish between vowels and consonants. And as one of the most intelligent, articulate humans on the planet, you deserved more than that. I think you're amazing, like beyond amazing. I think maybe that actually you are perfect, and you're perfect not just because you have red hair, but because of the thing that red hair is hiding, the brain. Oh, that brain. The brain that gives you power over every room, over every other comic in the room, and more interestingly, specifically, every male audience member in the room. Female comedians typically have a tricky relationship with power. Getting it from a room that may not want to give it, holding it without being called aggressive, maintaining it without wearing a low-cut top, and wielding it when someone makes the mistake of forgetting you've had it all along. Dame Wolf, you have that power in spade loads, and yet you don't have to do any of the above. You held power over every single human in that room, and you did so without one single iota of a shit given to invoking any type of focus on your, forgive my language, usually so prim, fuckability. And God fucking bless you, you empress of a woman. It's something I dwell on with increasing fervour. As you swiftly and elegantly dealt with in your set, when a female comedian finds herself in focus in, say, as indeed you did, a comedy roast scenario, the focus of her simple matter of being usually is condensed down to her being a whore. Indeed, when I was involved in a roast a few years ago, I was pregnant with donor sperm at the time. And at that time, I had sex with 2 people in the previous 4 years. What followed was a very confusing couple of hours for the lads sharing the stage with me. Many of the male comedians, those close to me, knew the quiet spell I was enjoying in my bed life, and so rightly made jokes about my lack of a sex life. The others simply assumed my whoredom and came at me with such statements as, Hattie has fucked her way into insert comedy club name here. Interestingly, one of the 2 people I had shagged was in the room that night, and as far as I know, has very little sway in terms of booking comedy club lineups, unless I have sadly missed something, and he could indeed have furthered my career. Many women afterwards commented on the attention paid to my sex life. Mine, me, sitting there, one of 2 women on stage, the other being an OnlyFans content creator. You would have thought there would have been a perfect target for all their excellent sex maniac jokes there, so much so that I might be spared. But no, my sex life, and luckily for the sake of ingenuity, the size of my tits, remained front and centre. I am a ginger woman. I'm not just saying this to make you love me, but if it helps, then so be it. I am a ginger woman who went to one of the top all-girls private schools in the country, who for the last 10 years has barely cleared the national annual minimum wage. I have been in one of the most catastrophically badly reviewed West End musicals of all time, and then seamlessly went on to one of the worst reviewed TV shows of all time, both times playing principal enough roles that it's not a coincidence. I played lacrosse. I wrote a blog. I have a photo of me, age 7, sitting on the lap of Rolf Harris. I have an awful bum. I prefer reading to going out. I was Lindsay Lohan's stand-in on The Parent Trap when I was 9, and I bear more than a passing resemblance to the daughter of a famed paedophile, Princess Beatrice. Safe to say, there was material. But Michelle, as you quietly noted, why bother with creativity and original thought when you could just call a girl a slag? That's why I'm in awe of you. I have been so for years, and I believe I will be forever. You get on stage and you showcase a brain and creativity and an observation capability surpassing any NASA-owned lens. You don't beg an audience for love. You trust it will come as a byproduct of awe. You have respect for your rooms without reverence for anyone in them. You don't doll yourself up because you're an adult and dolls are for children. Your brain is the star. Your brain is all of it. It's sharp and it's deep and it's unpredictable and it's unbridled and it's utilised perfectly in battle and in peacetime. It makes the men want to listen and the women want to roar. Your brain is what you give us, but your womanhood is for you and it's not up for discussion. And the irony of all of it is that it makes you the sexiest woman walking the earth. Thank God for you. A fan who will never be able to utter any of this to you in person, Hatty Preston. Thanks.